join. Say hello. Let me know where you are tuning in from in this beautiful planet we are existing on. I'm super, super excited to be here, to be live, waiting for Instagram to connect. And we're here. So when you join, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from in this beautiful planet. Happy Memorial Day weekend, or if you're watching this on the replay, hashtag replay of whenever that is. My name is Colleen Gallagher, if you've never met me, if you've never been introduced to me, and I'm super, super, super passionate about empowering people to create a lifestyle they love. And so this morning, I'm just settling into myself. We just had episode 106 of the Colleen Gallagher podcast go live with another Colleen, all about how to speak to energies and spirits and channeling. It's a really good episode if you really are wanting to tap into your energetic knowing, your energetic your energetic space of how do you really begin to connect with your energetic body? How do you begin to connect with what's greater than just this physical reality? And so anyway, it's a perfect episode for that if you haven't yet subscribed, I should say, to the Colleen Gallagher podcast. Let me get the link to put here on Facebook so you guys have it. Oh, hey, David. I will have a great day. And hey, James. Here's the podcast if you guys haven't downloaded it. Michaela. But, so yeah, if you haven't to it, it's going to really change your life, especially if you're experiencing like loss of someone, especially after what we just went through, loss of a loved one. If you're experiencing grief relationship or grief of just, someone moving on, this is a perfect podcast for you, because it really goes into how the other side speaks to us, like how the unknown or how the unseen or what we think is unseen speaks to us. So anyway, I highly recommend it, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. It's just such a stellar place to tune in and to, listen. So what I wanted to go into this morning, or what was alive and present for me, I was on my walk and I was like listening to the birds and I was having my tea and I was getting the podcast set up. And obviously, as you guys know, I did a live on it. I was meant to go to Orlando this weekend. An emergency came up and I wasn't able to go, and it's kind of sorting itself out right now, the final residue of the issue. And so what was alive on my heart on this walk today is that so often in life, right, we have this idea of what becoming wealthy looks like, or we have this idea of what becoming successful looks like. Like we look at when we're younger, like someone successful like Britney Spears, right? Or we look at someone successful like the person that's on the news station, right? Or we look at someone successful that's like Beyonce or the president, or anyone in politics, right? Like we look at these people and we go, oh my God, there's so much success, right? Or like Jeff Bezos would be another great example, Elon Musk, right? And we're getting a short clip of this person, right? When they're at a peak point, meaning when they're at when they've climbed the mountain, they finished climbing the peak that they're at, and we're getting that snapshot of them, right? Or the duality is that we're getting a snapshot of them at a low, like Tiger Woods, like Demi Lovato. Britney Spears could be equal to that too. Many men that came with the whole movement that just occurred, And so I was thinking about this because when I first started my business, I was like, oh my God, when I become a multi-millionaire, whatever that it was, or whatever that I thought it was that I wanted at the time. Oops, hold on. When I wanted to become a multi-millionaire, when I wanted to become a multiple six-figure business owner, when I wanted to become successful, whatever that meant to me, right? This level of success, this level of like, oh my God, I want this snapshot that everyone looks up to, right? I think we often forget that snapshot of success came with so many failures that we will never see. And even Mark Zuckerberg says this, like Facebook has had more failures, Amazon has had more failures. Everything you look at that's deemed as success has had more failures than success. Everything. This is like natural law, that they've failed more times than they tried, but they just kept on trying. If you think of like an Olympian, right? They didn't just try one time, right? They devoted an extended period of their life to CJ. They devoted an extended period of their life to something where they failed and they failed and they failed and they failed, but they kept on going so that they could have this achievement of success, right? This achievement of whatever it is. So now, like looking at Jeff Bezos, it's like, no wonder he has this amazing life where he travels and does this, but he put decades of work in, right? When he was asking for $1 million from, I think it was like 25 investors, or I forget how many, 250 or 25 investors, something like that. You know, he put, I don't even know how many people he had to cold call to get in front of those investors, to get in front of those rooms, to get in whatever, right? He had to do so much work, then to the platform, then to hiring people, then to now where he is like a global figure where he's free, right, financially, but he can't really go out and speak his mind, right? Like he has to be very politically mindful of what he speaks, because his influence, his reach of people that listen to him, or that he could upset, that he could cause emotional distress if he says something that a lot of people don't like, he has to be so mindful of. And so kind of this weekend, as this happened to me, where something like an emergency happened where I couldn't go to Orlando, right? It was frustrating because Orlando would have been like this thing of success. It would have been this moment to showcase like my podcast, and this moment to showcase like everything I've worked for. And it'd be like this moment right in front of people. And like we all kind of crave that moment sometimes, right? Like we all want that moment. Well, because the level of success I want is so much bigger, right? The level of where I want to go. And what I mean by success is like the level of impact, the level of reach, the level of freedom to be able to be, express, feel, travel where I want to travel. It's so much greater than just one moment or one speaking event, right? That when I had a disruption like this happen, a failure, let's say, happened where I couldn't have this moment, that was a snapshot of all the valleys I went through. It was gonna be a peak. People were gonna see it at the peak. But this peak turned into a valley, because I had to experience what I'm experiencing now so that I could have more failures to achieve even heightened level of where I want to go, achieve an even greater level of where I want to go. And so when I was reflecting this morning of when I first wanted to be this like super successful businesswoman, and I feel like I am a successful businesswoman or a successful creative, and it will only, you know, occur more and more as I navigate this world and I keep on showing up. But we often think that once we obtain multi-millions, or once we obtain six figures, or once we obtain, you know, living where we live, that the problems go away, which isn't true. It's that the more successful you become, especially financially, it's not that the problems go away, it's that you navigate them with more grace. You don't have such an emotional reaction or an emotional charge to them. How do I describe this? You don't have such an emotional reaction and emotional charge to them anymore. Instead, what happens with you is you experience a failure, let's say, and you just go, that's interesting. Let me observe that. Or you go, that's interesting. And it's not that because I'm a multiple six-figure earner or multiple, seven-figure earner that I shouldn't have this problem. It's going, wow, I'm so grateful I get to experience this problem. I'm so grateful I get to honor this problem. I'm so grateful I get to take the lesson with this problem. And then I get to walk forward with the wisdom. And so I really wanted to touch on that because I think it's easy to look at people at a snapshot, something like even, it's easy to look at people as a snapshot and say, like, even my life, like, oh, she has it all figured out, or oh, he has it all figured out, or oh my God, I want to be successful like this, or oh, their success is whatever. Like, it's very easy to do that, but I want you to know that the more successful you become, success, and whatever success means to you. It could mean various things, right? It could be being a good mom, it could be being a good dad, it could be spending quality time, right? And I think success, when I'm name dropping the people that I am, success to them is freedom. It's freedom to be a mom or a dad or a grandparent or a husband or a wife without having to worry about money, without having to argue about small things. And I think for me, right, success for me has always been freedom to express, freedom to be, freedom to take up the space I want, freedom to impact people, freedom to meet people and feel like they are feeling safe to express them, freedom to see people in the becoming of who they've always wanted to become, and me being a guide in that, me being a facilitator in that. And so one you're going to want to define after you get off this live, if you can take 5 minutes, after we get done with this, take 5 minutes after we get done with this live, and I just want you to write in your phone notes or on a pen and paper, what is success to me? Success looks like blah. What does that look like? And be as detailed as possible. Like, to me, success is being able to take my 2-mile walk that's like literally right here. I don't have to go anywhere. I can walk there. It's having coffee down the street. It's that I can make my own coffee. Like, success, this is like success to me. Success that I can hop on live like this and talk to you guys and connect with you guys and be with those of you who really are lovers, who really want to influence this world with love, who really want to impact this world with love, who really want to heal your relationship with money, who want to heal your relationship with people. That's success to me. And so write that down. And then number 2, I would say, look at where you're idealizing, fantasizing what success is, and where you're like, oh, well, if I was successful, I wouldn't have to deal with this. I wouldn't have whatever. It is true, if you have success, you wouldn't have necessarily money problems, but there would be different money strategies, like tax strategies you'd be leveraging, like growth strategies, payroll. Like, there's different things you'd be thinking about, right? So begin to look at, okay, if I want that next level, if I want to get over, if you're sitting there right now and you feel like you're suffering with money or you're struggling with money, and you're like, oh, this feels so hard, this feels so frustrating, I don't know why this is happening to me. What I would suggest you do is look, okay, whatever my true success is, right? What amount of money would that take to sustain and live that life? Out of sustaining and living that life, where can I shift my language? Where can I shift my mindset? Where can I shift my being? So that I'm not sitting here having negative thoughts about, if I had success, this wouldn't be my problem. Because it's you looking at, you don't have those problems now, that those problems are illusions. Those problems are made up. Just like that the person that's on the news channel that you thought was successful, they're at their peak. You didn't see all the moments that got them to that peak. You didn't see all the moments that got them to clearly communicate and articulate what they're saying. So you have to begin practicing right now in this moment. It's not like the success is going to come and then you're going to change. You change it right in this moment, so that when that peak happens, you're prepared. Tim Story even said this, like, he was like, it took me so long to get on Oprah. He's like, but if I would have gotten Oprah any earlier, I wasn't ready. I didn't have a website. I didn't have the foundation. I didn't have articles. I didn't have real estate on Google. I didn't have a Facebook page. Like, no one would have known who I was. So it's like they would have found me on Oprah, but it didn't matter because there was nothing on the back end. And so it took him many failures, right, to even get to Oprah, to be ready to be on Oprah. So I always like to say, like, look at what's happened in your life, and Abraham Hicks says this: you're getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. And one of my greatest examples I had with this was when I had my e-commerce. If you guys look at any of my products online, my books, my crystals, my whatever, and I had to get like a specific printer, and this printer was like for UPS, and it's like such a hassle. It's like $500. It's the only printer. It's like super annoying, and it's special because it goes with Mac. If it's Windows, it's like $300 cheaper. And then you have to like get all these things to set it up. Like, it was a whole hassle, right? Like a new printer, this, that, like, oh my God, it was literally the biggest headache of my life. But I'm like, you know what? I'm getting ready to be ready to be ready. If I want 100 orders in a day, could I even sustain that right now? If I wanted 20 orders in a day, could I even sustain that right now? And I had to look at what were the systems and processes I had to put in place. One was like, right, I only do shipping once a week. We ship every Wednesday, right? So orders can come in for that, but we only ship on Wednesdays. That's our drop-off day, because otherwise it's not sustainable for me and my business. I had to make a process, right? So the failure of me having this created the peak. So I want you to begin to look at that as, where are you looking at your frustrations, at why something isn't happening? You're comparing it to someone else's peak who's had many, many failures to practice that. And then how can you begin right now to practice making your failures a becoming? making your failures into the next level of you, making your failures flow and navigate to, okay, it's not money troubles. It's okay, how am I going to set this up so I could have payroll? How am I going to set this up so I could have a savings? You know, I remember when I first started savings, I wasn't saving at all when I first started my business. I was just making money and then I would reinvest it into the business. No savings. And then I started doing where every week, every Friday, $20 went into my savings and it wasn't touched. And then I moved up to 100 and I moved up to 1,000. Like I just kept moving it where every week so that when I look at my bank account, there was always savings there that I just didn't touch and it was just there. So I just want you guys to think those are like some things, anyway, of thinking of like these peaks that people are at and then the lows that we can get into and how you can transition. So the next thing that I want today, my whole website, everything on my website is 50% off. Everything. So if you just go to colleengallagher.co and you type in love at checkout, LOVE, love at checkout. I think it's all capital too. You get 50% off everything. I'm just typing this here. So if you have courses, I have a money course. I have a shift to the limitless course. I have a remembrance activation. I have an alien activation. I have a how to speak with confidence on video. I have an earn income online bundle. I have how to create, write, share, receive your lifestyle career. I have how to overcome heartbreak. I have how to make the awakened woman crave you. I have all of these things that are really going to be supportive. What I would recommend for a starting point is my shift to the limitless audio. I think it's like $10 with 50% off. Absolutely amazing. And I would recommend my remembrance activation. And obviously any of my books, those are great starting points. Unique one. Specifically to go deeper on this, I would recommend, let's see here. Just waiting for this to load. It's been a little slow. I don't know why this is being slow. Okay. I would recommend, if I'm looking at this here, my recalibration, that is one I would highly recommend. If you really liked what you listened to today, my recalibration, which would be $55, I highly recommend that. It allows you to recalibrate to who you're meant to become. I also would recommend my remembrance activation. That would be $55 with 50% off. I would recommend how to create your fairy tale life with passive income in 6 weeks. That's really to get clear on why you're here and how to leverage your history to make your marketing. That would be like $100-something. How to use energetics to enhance your career. I would highly recommend that one. And how to become a powerful manifester. If you really like those conversations, those are the courses, the self-study courses I would really, really recommend. So I love you guys. I hope this served. Please comment, please share, and have a great rest of your day.